Hi, so I was going to share a testimony with you guys of God's faithfulness on me having kids. So currently I am married. I've been with my husband for, oh my goodness, about 23 years. And in 2010, we had got married, but previous to that, we had been together for about 9 years. At that time, I wasn't really walking with the Lord, and I had a daughter when I was 20. And between the ages of, that time span between 20 and 30, I had tried to have children, couldn't get pregnant. I ended up having my husband and I go and see a fertility doctor, and we started on some fertility drugs and had testing done, and we did a couple of rounds of treatments, and nothing took. We didn't get pregnant. So that was over about a 2-year window, and this was after trying to have kids for about 7 years. So those fertility drugs, nothing worked. So I pretty much had kind of given up, and I didn't have a relationship with God quite at that time. It didn't come until after I got married. But I just remember I always knew God. I accepted God into my heart as a small child. So I always knew God was present with me. So I remember right before the new year in 2010 is when we got married. So it would have been in December of 2010. I remember crying out to God. I was at a friend's house, and she was a single mom, and she had 5 kids, and I remember just crying to her, and I was in prayers in her backyard, and I was shouting out to God, when is my time? When is my time to be a mom? This is what I want in my life. And I just wasn't able, to have any more kids, and it didn't make sense to me. And July 24th of 2010 is when I had got married. So this was about 5 to 6 months later, right after Christmas in December of 2010. And come the next year, 2011, it was probably, I want to say maybe around January 10th or 12th, I started feeling really nauseous, started feeling really sick. And I don't know, something in me just told me to take a pregnancy test. And I took a pregnancy test, and I was in shock. It came out positive. I could not even fathom or believe that it was even possible. And then all of a sudden, I think I remember running to CVS and getting, like 3 or 4 more pregnancy tests of different brands. And sure enough, I had more positive tests. And so I remember scheduling the appointment with the OBGYN that I had, and they confirmed. They're like, yeah, you're pregnant. You're like 6 weeks pregnant. So before I even prayed that prayer, I was shouting out to God on New Year's Eve of December 31st of 2010. I was already pregnant. I literally had gotten pregnant naturally by kind of letting go of everything, allowing God to just step in and not pressuring, and just, it was in God's timing. But the number one thing that I can tell you is during those 9 years, I wasn't married. I wasn't under the covenant of marriage. And I can tell you that when I got married, in the Bible, it says when you're under the covenant of marriage that God will bless you. God sure blessed me. He opened my womb, and He opened the floodgates of heaven, because not even just was my son born September 28th of 2011, I was pregnant again. And my daughter was born on November 4th of 2013. And then I had another daughter that was born on July 16th of 2017. So from doctors telling me, that we had some issues and we weren't going to be able to conceive, And we were going to have to probably look into adoption. And I had a family member that even offered to be a surrogate for me. And God is faithful. And when you surrender all to God and you do things in the way that God wants you to do them, He will bless you. He blessed me. I waited for 10 years. I had it in my heart and what my plans were for my life to have all my kids by the time I was about 30, 32 years old. But once I got married, July 24th, 2010, my son, he came. I was pregnant with him. I want to say right around Thanksgiving is when I got pregnant with him. And my husband's birthday is November 24th. So that's just a little bit of God's faithfulness and just one of the many testimonies that God has done for me in my life. And I will share more testimonies on my channel because I definitely want this to be a place of encouragement and to speak life into others and to let you know that there is hope in the Lord and that God is there and He will give us the desires of our heart when we surrender our life to Him.